Steve, we're here at ELE Advanced Technologies. I'm intrigued by what we're going to talk about here, ceramic tooling from NTK. Now, just tell us that the materials that you're cutting on these Kitamura machines that warrant the use of these tools to start with.
Yeah, so what we cut is a lot of high temperature, what they call super alloys, a lot of nickel content in there, a lot of chrome, very difficult to machine. Historically, most people grind in this sort of material, as we do, but as tools have developed, we mill a lot more than what we did previously. Historically, we'd used sort of inserted solid carbide tools, but we've had massive time saving and cost per part improvements by using the likes of NTK for ceramic tooling, both inserts and as well as solid carbide replacement tools.
So what's the differences in those savings then? I mean, the tools last longer, you make the parts faster, the surface finishes are better?
Well, the tools are predominantly used for roughing, and the big improvement is on time. So the time differences from conventional carbide insert tool has been, fairly substantial. On the first part we tried, I think we saved in the likes of an hour off a 3-hour cycle. So it was significant.
30, essentially almost 30%.
Very significant, yeah.
What about the strategy that's involved in the machine in using the ceramics? Is there a lot of education in that, or do NTK support you with that? How does it work?
Well, there were some particular sort of rules as you were to stick to, so we got some good advice from the reps at NTK. Certain things that you should stick to. Obviously, we don't use coolant. We've adapted the air blast to keep the tools cool. They do get quite warm. It does give you a little bit of a firework display in the machine, but yeah, it's...
And when you see that, because I have seen that in action, that isn't anything to worry about though, is it? Although you might look at it and think there's it's a broken tool when it's far from it.
No, it's usual to what you'd see, so yeah.
And we talk about a big time saving, but what's the cost? I mean, are you going to pay 100% more for the tool, but you're going to save 30% of cycle time? Is there a comparison?
You got to understand, you obviously, we regrind a lot of carbide, so obviously you don't get your regrinds. You get the tool until it's sort of spent, and then we personally don't regrind it. I believe there is some work going into that, but we don't do that. So no, we just get the massive saving. And it's dependent on the part how many goes you get at that and what we're using it on.
Can you see the ceramic tooling playing a big part in a lot of machine shops? I know the materials you're talking about aren't machined everywhere, but are there other materials that this could apply to, in your opinion?
Well, I'm not an expert, but I believe so. I believe the cast irons are big use, but this material in particular, it rejects carbide as a general rule. It rejects the heat because it's superheat resistant, and all that heat goes back into the tool, and that's where your ceramics come in that can withstand that heat.
Steve, a quick question for you. Steve, you've got a Kitamura machine here from Dugard that these are supplied. You're involved in the tooling side, but how do these machines perform with the strategies that you implement on the machining that you do?
Well, very well. Obviously, I haven't experienced it on other machines. We've sort of started on these. They're very robust machines, and everything that we've done with them so far, they've caught very well. The
BT50 element, the ceramic tooling, does that allow you to take heavier cuts, push the machine more to its limits?
Yeah, I'd say the taper, obviously, it needs to be very, very robust. It's running at quite high speeds. I'd say. Yeah.
And the materials that you're cutting here, they're difficult materials. You maintain the tolerances as a result of the geometric accuracy of these Kitamuras. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, for the finishing. Obviously not with the ceramics. Again, the ceramic leaves a not as good finish, but high metal removal rates. But yeah, for the finishing, these machines and the accuracy perform very well up to press.